and today on the Morning Cafe, you're right on time for the Relationship 360, which is usually headed by, Mr. Olumide, the barrister, and the Gnosis Help Initiative. And you know how he does this thing. I mean, it's always back to back to back. It's always a banner right here on the show. And today, the topic is a very interesting one, I would say. And I think right up until now, it's still a very unsettling one. When you mention it like this, people begin to say, hey, and a lot of, perspective on it. But we're going to be talking about divorce today on the show. Mr. Olumide.
Good morning.
Divorce is what we're
you.
talking about. Good morning.
You're already serious. Good morning.
Yes, I'm in a very serious topic now. Why shouldn't I be looking serious? I mean, how's your morning, Presley, before we start to talk about that?
We thank God for
You
His
said you woke up
mercies.
like around, and you were speeding. You came here in the speed of light.
It wasn't funny.
Wasn't funny? But here you are. Alright, so what are we talking about? What is let's just go straight into it.
Yes, let's do that. Divorce is the topic for today. I want to greet everyone a good morning and thank you for tuning in to Relationship 360, 7 a.m. in the morning. Saturdays are meant for resting, but you are here with us. I want to thank you. So I will go straight into the matter because this is a topic that sends shivers down the religious spine and the traditional spine. But let's talk about it. Divorce. Merriam-Webster defines divorce as to legally dissolve one's marriage from a spouse. Wikipedia explains divorce as the process of terminating a marriage or a marital union. Vocabulary.com says that divorce is a formal ending of a marriage. It means the marriage is officially over. And Oxford, it describes divorce as the legal dissolution of marriage by a court or other competent body. Now, in Nigeria, 87% of divorces, separations, domestic violence and abuse are from Christian marriages. And it is no longer an assumption that Christians have the highest rates of divorce in the country. However, on the flip side, most Christians believe you cannot divorce or separate at the same time.
Sure.
So it puts us at a dilemma. We have the highest rate, and then we are the ones that believe it is till death do you part. So no matter what you face, if your spouse brings out a knife, you run out, you have to go back in because you cannot leave. So we want to discuss that today. I want to apologize to the non-Christian listeners. This is not a Christian program, but these are the people that have the highest problems, the highest rates of divorce, and we want to examine that reason why they say they cannot divorce. It will be a very interesting read, so please bear with me. The Christian doctrine of divorce and why they think they cannot divorce even in the face of domestic violence and abuse. Some say even if you divorce, you cannot remarry. So this doctrine comes from Matthew chapter 19 verse 9, which reads, "And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, commits adultery, and whosoever marries her which is put away, commits adultery." Okay, everybody, bring out your Bibles. This is Bible study time.
Bible study time
Yes,
indeed.
yes. So now we are not discussing doctrine. We want to, all of us, read it together so that we would use our own minds and not what your church or your leader or your brother or sister or a deacon has told you. So bring out your Bibles. Bring out your Bibles quickly. Open your phone apps. So we are going to read it together. Matthew 19:9 again, it says, "I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, commits adultery, and whosoever marries her which is put away, commits adultery." This is the bane of the religious doctrine by Christians not to marry. However, this has been such a lazy conclusion, that is for me, by leaders without much study. Only it has been what leaders have been used to and how they were also groomed, and this is an excuse to keep the abused in marriage. But let us study today. So please, if you will, let us look at the first place where divorce was mentioned in the Bible. The first place where it was mentioned in the Bible. So please open with me to Deuteronomy 24 verse 1. I want to apologize again to those that are non-Christians, but this is a big problem. So please, just bear with me for today. In fact, no, just for 15 minutes. So, are we at Deuteronomy 24 verse 1? Very good. I would read. Deuteronomy 24 verse 1 says, when a man has taken a wife and married her, and it comes to pass that she finds no favor in his eyes because he has found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it to her hand and send her out of his house. That is verse 1. Verse 2 says, and when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. Verse 3, and if the latter husband hates her, and write her a bill of divorcement as well, that is the second husband, and gives it to her hand and sends her out of his house, or if the latter husband dies, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that she is defiled, for that is an abomination before the Lord, and thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord has given thee for an inheritance. So, it tells you here that a woman, after being divorced by her husband, the only taboo here is that if she has been divorced by her husband and has remarried to another person, and maybe that person divorces her, she cannot go back to the first husband, but she can go on to other husbands.
Same thing with a man.
Yes, a man.
Yeah. It's the same thing with a man.
A man cannot take a wife that he has divorced back.
Can he take another woman?
Yes, of course, it's here.
Okay.
And verse 5 says, when a man takes a new wife, he shall not go to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, but shall be free at home for 1 year, and will cheer up his wife that he has taken. So it tells you that when you have remarried, or when you have married, you cannot go out to war. Now, what is interesting is from verse 1 to 4. Her former husband, that is verse 4, which sent her away, cannot take her again to be wife. After that, she is defiled. That means because she has remarried somebody else. But if she did not remarry, it goes by saying that he can take her back. But as long as she has remarried, he cannot take her back. Here it says, when a man takes a wife, marries her, it comes to pass that he finds no favor in the eyes, finds some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. Verse 2, and when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. Now, this is where our issue is. So, the reason for divorce here is she finds no favor in his eyes because he has found some uncleanness in her.
Okay.
Now, it's funny, the King James Version refers to it as uncleanness in her. The New Living Translation says shameful, because he has found something shameful in her. Then the Amplified Version says because he has found some indecency in her. That is, the reason for divorce now is that she finds no favor in his eyes because he has found something shameful, something indecent, or something unclean about her. But then she can go and marry another person, meaning that what is shameful, indecent to this man might not be shameful or indecent to that man. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, because of the variations in English, we now would go to the original Hebrew word of that uncleanness, which means Erwat, which is E-R-W-A-T. If you remember, because he has found some uncleanness in her. The uncleanness here is translated from the original Hebrew called Erwat, which means nakedness, because he has found some nakedness in her.
Okay.
Now, that nakedness was used 27 times in the Bible, which means weakness, because he has found weakness. He has found a weakness in her. You know, nakedness is what you call see finish.
Yes.
Then when you say see finish, that means they know your weakness.
Yeah.
So it says here, your secret. So Deuteronomy 21 says, when a man has taken a wife and married her, and it comes to pass that she finds no favor in his eyes, because he has found some weakness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, give it in her hand, and send her out of the house. So the reason for divorce in the Jewish tradition was to find something you did not like in the woman. There was no law about what you should not like. It was dependent on you, because you send her out, then she is free, according to verse 2, to go and remarry another person.
Okay.
So what is shameful to you is not shameful to that person. So it means it is based on your personal likes or dislikes.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
That means that there is no real reason for divorce.
There is no real reason.
There is no real reason, because here it means that I talk to you and you just look at me and I don't like the way you look. You can fall out of favor with me and I say I'm no longer doing.
Oh, but I think that's not, because you're talking about Christians now. You went back to the Old Testament. There's a New Testament that says that this was based on
So
faithfulness.
you have not, what was based on unfaithfulness?
This divorce law, was based on if you find this person unclean. In terms of
if you have found, no, not at all.
It says that you can actually check it.
Deuteronomy 21?
No, I'm talking about the new one.
But where am I reading? I'm reading 21. So why are you going to you have...
No, you're talking about Deuteronomy. That's like in the Old Testament. I'm talking about the New Testament that says that this was based on the grounds of... Yes.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. This was where divorce was first mentioned.
Yeah.
And this is where the law of divorce started
from.
In the Jewish custom.
Okay.
So here in the Jewish custom, all a man had to do was to find a complaint, a weakness in the woman, which to him could be anything.
Okay.
So the moment, I would give you some examples. There was a certain rich man who sent his wife packing because after 2 years her breasts were no longer standing and she found no favor
in his eyes,
and he married a younger one. The Jewish culture set no standard for divorce, so you could divorce as many times. There was a certain Pharisee, according to history, that married a new wife every year. He would send, so he married for a decade consecutively, because there was no law. The law was that as long as she fell out of favor. So there was, according to the Roman, I forgot where it was, but it is in history, where a Jewish lady was serving her husband, and the pot cracked. As the pot cracked, it scarred her in the hand and she was bleeding. And he said because of that she has a blemish and she has found no favor in his eyes. He divorced her because she had a cut she sustained while serving him food. Now you will go to Malachi to tell you that the wife of your youth. Now it became so notorious in Jewish history that there were 3 kinds of wives. The first wife was the wife of your youth. The second wife was the wife of your age, which happened when you were getting to 40. Then the third wife is the wife of your old age, because those older men kept marrying younger women, saying their own wife of the youth was not strong enough to take care of them in their old age. So the issue is that divorce was all around, and it started to affect the Jewish genealogy because I am Olumide, the son of, let's say, Fatima. This same Fatima will now be divorced and go and remarry another man, and then the man will be Joshua. Then she will give birth, and it will be Joshua, the son of this, the mother of the same Mary that was the mother under another man. So it began to affect their genealogy, because you will find out that this woman gave birth to this woman gave birth to that, this woman gave birth to that. All three different women in genealogy having different men, but with the same woman. It started becoming a problem, but the Jews did not mind, because it was patriarchal. It was whatever the men wanted. So the thing we are going to take out of Deuteronomy is that according to Jewish law here, Deuteronomy, there was no particular reason for divorce. It was as the men felt, as they chose. And this is where the law of divorce began. This was where divorce was first mentioned in the Bible. So to prove this to you now, let me take you to Matthew 19:3. This is where you are talking about that you couldn't wait for me to finish, and you had to
to interrupt it, because but no, I think I'm clear. On what you're saying.
Now let us look at, now we go into the New Testament where the basis of that doctrine is. And look at this, Matthew 19:3. The Pharisees came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? That was their custom. For every cause. That is, everything was a reason for divorce. Look at in the New International Version, he calls it for every reason. In the King James Version, it calls for every cause. So it tells you that there was no cause, but every cause. I hope somebody is getting that. Look at the Amplified Version, says, and the Pharisees came to him and put him to test, asking, is it lawful and right to dismiss and repudiate a divorce, or divorce a man's wife for any and every cause? It shows you that that was their custom, for any and every cause, because a woman was not secure. Anything you do could be a ground for divorce. And Jesus said, no, this is not right. And that was the law that God did not like, because there was no sanctity of marriage. The Jewish and one other, I think it belonged to these Asian people, were the only cultures that had no reason for divorce. In Rome, there was a reason for divorce. You must have a reason. It must be legal. But the Jews had no reason. Anything could happen. You could see people that would tell the woman that she's no longer beautiful, that he wants a younger wife, and he divorces her on that ground. You serve me food, it is not sweet. I don't like the salt.
Wow.
I divorce you. They pick anything you do as a ground for divorce, and that was not right. So when we come in our own modern day and begin to quote Jewish custom, not knowing that the reason Christ said it is not right is because there was no cause. The Jewish custom did not recognize the sanctity. There was no reason. You could divorce a woman for anything, and that was why Jesus said it is not right. The predominant thing in the Jewish race then was adultery. And why was adultery prevalent? Because the rights of a choice of consent was not between the spouse, it was between the family. The fathers always determined who you would marry, and it caused a problem, because I do not love who my father wants, I loved another woman. So there is the woman I'm married to, and then there's the woman I love outside. You could see that Abraham chose the wife for Isaac, sent it. Isaac had no choice. Look at Jacob. Also, that's why he married Leah. He had no choice. The father of the bride gave him Leah instead of Rachel, told him to work out, because then consent to marry did not belong to the spouses, it belonged to the family. So there was a lot of adultery because people were marrying either for political reasons and all that. Adultery was very prevalent in that land, and Jesus had to now give them a reason that except for adultery, because all others that you are saying were not causes, the major thing then was adultery. He gave them a cause. But now you come down to Nigeria. Nigeria has a Matrimonial Causes Act. It has a law that prescribes grounds for divorce. Domestic violence and abuse is a very big ground. Adultery is another one. Irreconcilable differences, especially when the fightings, and there are reasons. There are reasons here for divorce, but in the Jewish race there was no reason. So you cannot bring that culture of the Jews and now put it here where there is. Do you know why there was no domestic violence and abuse in the Jews in Israel? Okay,